most of us can't stop talking about ourselves, and that's what this new research is about. Why is it that 40% of our conversation is about ourselves?
Right.
I mean, we can't help but share our thoughts, our subjective feelings, our take on things. You know, perhaps no matter how boring or irritating our listener may find it, but of course they're dying to talk about themselves. Well, a group of psychologists at Harvard University has conducted a series of very clever brain imaging and behavioral experiments that try to get at the question of, well, why do we find our conversation, our subjective experience, and the sharing of that subjective experience so unbelievably fascinating that we can't stop ourselves from talking to other people.
They use MRI, functional MRI.
They use functional MRI, and they use some very clever financial gaming experiments. And what they found was that at the fundamental level of like cells and synapses, we find talking about ourselves. I mean, I'm talking about myself right now. I can't help myself.
Right.
The brain here is just so rewarded by the experience of my conversation about me.
And even more so than talking about, they were offered money to like talk about other people, like President Obama. They gave up the money to talk about themselves.
Well, one of the ways they got at this was, you know, you can look at the brain under these scanners, things light up, who knows what it really means. So they constructed some financial experiments where they offered very small but measurable rewards, pennies, if you were willing to talk about someone else's experience, someone else's personality, someone else's traits. Do they like mushrooms on their pizza? Do they like snowboarding? Do you think President Obama is really smart? And then if you were willing to give up money, you could talk about yourself. Well, people were willing to give up almost 25% of the potential financial reward here for the sheer neural thrill of talking about themselves.
So no wonder Twitter and Facebook, people say, why do people post, gee, I just had a big juicy steak on Facebook? I mean, we just love the ability to sort of talk about ourselves in any medium.
Well, it is the case. There is research on this that
even if no one's listening.
Well, especially if no one's listening, because in some of these sites you can't tell. They are just at best echo chambers.
Right.
Twitter, other social media sites, 80% of the communications, I'm told, simply consist of people kind of showing up, announcing something about themselves, not interacting with other people.